How's it going, guys? White Rabbit here. I just wanted to do a quick little follow-up video to the one I just posted. I just got finished talking to Red Pill about this, and he's pretty steadfast on it being a hoax. So I decided to go ahead and take another look at it, reevaluate the video just to make sure that I didn't jump the gun on this. And I gotta stick with it, guys. It checks out. Everything about this checks out. So if we back up and we watch just as the clock changes here, down here in the bottom corner, as soon as the clock changes right there, the plane is just before the road, looks like. And then if you fast forward to when the clock changes again, it's just past the road. So that's roughly 1 second, give or take. So I went on here to Google Maps and measured roughly the distance there. It's roughly 187, 188 feet or so, give or take. So I factored out per 1 second, it's 57 meters per second. Factored out to miles is 128 miles per hour. So that's right at what I said in the in the last video I just posted. I said that it was probably going between 100 to 150 miles per hour when it stalled like that. So that checks out. Then if we re-examine again, looks like the plane lost power right about here. Lost power, started to go down. The tail started to drag, the nose lifted up. And what happened here, guys, is that when a plane stalls, you not only lose control of the airplane, but it also falls out of the sky. This is pretty much what happens when a plane stalls, okay? This is how a plane is supposed to fly. It's supposed to create lift, all right? When a plane stalls, it disrupts the airflow. Let me see if I can get a better picture. You have a separated flow that happens, okay? It's supposed to happen like this. That's ideal. But when the plane tips up like that, as we see it does in the video here, right there, you see how the nose starts to drag, the pilot's trying to point the tail up, because what's happening is the plane stalls. Okay, so the wings are no longer creating lift, pushing the plane up and keeping it in the air. Okay, there's no lift being created by the wings here, and there's not enough forward momentum to get the plane out of this situation. So it falls, you lose all control when that happens. Okay, and that's exactly what we see happening. Okay, pilot lost control, and you know, normally when that happens, you can point the nose down and come out of it. Just like that. Point the nose down and you come out of it. But the problem is, you have this, the pilot had this road and all these light poles in the way. So he was trying to overcome it, but he just didn't have enough power to. And by that point, it was probably already too late. So let's examine this clip. As the plane comes down, okay, a lot of people talk about this part where the plane hits this this car. And I was just talking with Sean Y about it. And if we count the divots here on the wing, okay, we have 1, 2, 3 divots, okay, and then this extra space below this this lowest divot, okay. Now when the plane hits this car, when the wing clips this car, it snaps that portion of the wing, and the wing is bent up that direction. So when you go right past it, okay, that's what's happening. The wing is being pushed away from the camera. It snaps. And when you come back here, it looks like an error in the film. It looks like, you know, at first glance nothing happened to the wing, but actually you can see it snapped 1, 2, 3, and there's very little space below that third rung there. And you can kind of make out the section of the wing that was bent forward. Okay. Now this is the next part that makes just way too much sense. We have the plane just barely, okay, comes down at just an angle to avoid this light pole. And so you have the fuselage on one side of the light pole and the tail section on the other side of the light pole. So what would you expect to happen? You would expect it to rip it out of the pavement and mess up the tail as it does so. Well, look at the very next clip. That's exactly what happens. It gets ripped out, and look at this notch taken out of the tail. Boom. Guys, that's exactly what you would expect to happen. Okay? So the plane comes down. We see it clips this car. And like I said, you see where it clips the car there. And it looks like a, at first glance, it looks like a glitch in the video, but it's actually not, okay? Because if you count the rungs again, 1, 2, 3, and space after, versus 1, 2, 3, and very little space, but we have this hint of the wing snapped forward like that. Oh, again, away from the camera. Hits the bridge, breaks it off more. Okay. And then it approaches this light pole, snaps the light pole, and damages the tail. Okay. So the speed is exactly what I would expect. The performance of the plane, how it is, it's obviously stalling here, is exactly what I would expect. The snap in the wing, even though it looks like at first glance a glitch in some CGI or something, after a closer examination, you know, obviously this is not a very expensive camera. The camera's not keeping up with the speed of what's going on here. But it's what we would expect, at least what I would expect to happen. And again, the tail section gets knocked out there. So as far as this being CGI, guys, I don't see it. This is either the best CGI on the face of the planet, or it's real. And like I said, you still have to deal with all this debris winding up in the river. And let me just, on that note, when we're talking about this, these people on the ground after the accident, and how some of them appear to be standing and some of them are swimming, and the fact that we're getting shots from this, you know, drone flying overhead, and you know, I'm just not buying it. I don't think it's fake, you know. It's perfectly reasonable to assume that this river is shallow. It's also perfectly reasonable to assume that they could be standing on debris of the plane. I mean, you can see right here how some of the debris is bent backwards this way. So, you know, they could very well be standing on a section of the wing for all we know. You know, that would also explain why they're all kind of standing in the same area. There's probably debris right there that they're able to stand on, you know? Come on. Let's be realistic about this. You know? So, you know, and as far as the drone is concerned, the drone taking these shots, you know, I don't know where the drone came from. I wasn't there. But, you know, it could have been used for the search and rescue. News team could have gotten it out, you know. I don't know. But just because a drone was there doesn't, you know, make the whole thing fake. If everything else checks out, I'm just saying, you know. This is the first time I think I've ever disagreed with Red Pill, okay? And if I come across some evidence that, you know, proves to me that this is in fact a hoax, then I'll be the first to admit it. All right? Believe me, I would prefer this to be a hoax. I would. I don't like thinking that, you know, this many people died in such a tragic event, obviously. Okay? But as far as I can tell, everything seems to check out. Anyway, that's all I have to say about it, guys. It looks like the, you know, the news agency just happened to come across a compelling story that they could, you know, push the crap out of. So, anyway, if you haven't already, please like and subscribe. Thanks, and God bless.